Welcome to Orabone Complex in Cranston, Rhode Island. You are listening to Fans Only Sports Network, and that's Sports with a Z. I'm Bryce Santoch here alongside Andrew Granier, and we've got a rivalry game between the Cranston West Falcons and the Cranston East Thunderbolts, and it is senior night for the Cranston West Falcons. But I believe you've got something to say first. Andrew, how are you doing first of all?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, but it is senior night for these Falcons, and unprecedented times, of course, as we know. And, it's so nice that these players do get to have a senior night as they weren't anticipating in the fall. And you being, a coach for the Falcons, I'm sure you have a closer connection with some of these guys. And to see them really go off on a high note, except for the downside that they are struggling this year at 0-3, as both sides are. So a little bit more bragging rights, I guess you can say, for the Cranston teams.
Yeah, what's going to end up happening is someone's going to get a win out of this game. So, at the end of the day, one of these Cranston teams is going to have a win this season. So, it's going to be a good game.
Good afternoon and welcome to our class of
And we are going to get underway with the seniors and celebrate the seniors.
football seniors and their families and wish them good luck today and in the future. We also want to thank Cheryl and Steve Carbone from Carbone Florists for their generous donation of the flowers we are handing out today to our seniors and their families. Thank you. At this time, let's meet and congratulate our senior class and their families. Starting with senior Antonio Aceto, joined with Mrs. Susan Aceto.
First up
and
for the
Mr.
Falcons,
Luigi Aceto.
it is Antonio Aceto, number 51, an O-lineman and linebacker.
Our next senior is Musa Alamal, joined by his sister Reem and brother Hassan.
And the next senior is Musa Almal, number 22 for the Falcons.
Our next senior is Nicholas Castriata, joined by Mrs. Becky Castriata and Mr. Victor Castriata.
And next is Nicholas Castriata for the Cranston West Falcons on senior night, number
Our
31.
next senior is Miles Chung, joined by his mother, Mrs. Lori Chung, and father, Mr. Kevin Chung.
The next Falcon is number 44, Miles Chung.
Our next senior is Christopher DeGatis, joined by Mrs. Kia DeGatis and Mr. Henry DeGatis.
And next up is number 11, Christopher DeGatis.
Our next senior is Nicolo De La Rosa, joined by Mrs. Myra De La Rosa and Mr. Glenn De La Rosa.
Micolo De La Rosa, number 56, the senior for the Cranston West Falcons.
Our next senior is Daniel Mayola, joined by Mrs. Danielle Mayola and Mr. Anthony Mayola.
As we just
Our
had
next
Daniel
senior is
Mayola,
Jason
but up
Rocchio.
next
He
is
joined by Mrs.
Jason
Denise
Rocchio
and Mr. John
for
Rocchio.
the Falcons. It's a long list of seniors.
Our next senior is Jack Russo, joined by Mrs. Jill Russo and Mr.
Up next
Robert
is Jack
Russo.
Russo, an O-line and D-line combo, number 58.
Our next senior is Brennan Stetson, joined by Mrs. Kerry Stetson and Mr. Brian Stetson.
Brennan Stetson, number 29, the really Swiss Army knife, the weapon that he is. Running
And
back,
our next
linebacker
senior
combo.
is Jacob Young, joined by Mrs.
And next is
Melissa Young.
Jacob Young for the Cranston West Falcons.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us as we congratulate our class of 2021 senior football players.
Once again, congratulations to these Cranston West Falcons seniors as they hope to end their shortened 6-game season on a high note
Good luck today.
and really in a city cup per se. I know that's more of a soccer thing here in Cranston.
It's actually a 5-game season. I wish we had a 6 game.
Oh, that's right. They have one as Cranston West will take on Hendricken next week for their season finale. But Andrew, we do know the weather. It is cold and rainy out here today. Not too pleasant as we see further days coming up in the 60s and 70s. But how is the weather really going to impact this game?
Well, this is typical football weather. I mean, in high school, you don't see a lot of running anyway.
You know, it's a great point. And I know early we wanted to bring up a couple players that we both wanted to look out for, and I know you wanted to touch on Brendan Stetson for West. You want to just tackle him for a minute? You know, it's a great point. It's something we're going to have to watch out for. Sometimes those foot injuries are so tricky because they just keep nagging and nagging and nagging, as we all know who have endured an injury like that. But on the other side, we're looking at Angelo Urena, the tight end D lineman, who's really going to have to do a good job of stopping that threat, and Brendan Stetson. So we're going to be looking to the Cranston East defensive line to try and make some stops up front and really get some pressure in the backfield.
If I can have your attention, please, the Cranston West football program would like to recognize our head trainer, Miss Sue Sosha, and wish her a very happy birthday. Thank you from all of us, Sue.
You're in high school, if you're in college, that's all goes down to the line. Both teams are known for having good lines.
And that's a great point once again, Andrew, as we know both of these teams coming in have been fairly disappointed in their 0-3 record. Obviously, you want to win every game that you can get out, especially in a much more condensed version of a season. But nonetheless, you've got to come out here today and you're going to try and perform as best possible. And for both of these teams, the energy is high. These teams are ready to go. You know, sometimes in these rivalry games, you get in emotions. So we're going to see at the start of the game who really starts to come out on top. I think for me, it's going to be a fast start. Who can limit their turnovers? We've seen so many times, especially with the ball being a little bit wet, once it hits the turf on a kickoff, that sometimes that ball's pretty slippery. So I think for me, it's going to have to be who starts off quick. We had the luxury of calling a Cranston West game against Central a few weeks ago, where we saw Central really get out to a fast start, and West wasn't able to recover. They came back, but wasn't able to really close that gap. And I know you know so much about these Cranston West players. What are you hoping to see from them on senior night?
Well, you know, you're just going to look for a fight in them. You're looking at their team, and this year there's not a lot of kids on the team, and that's not usual with Cranston West football. So I expect them to just go out there and have a good game, look for Stetson to get a lot of the touches, and I want to see them fight. You know, the last couple games, they haven't won a game yet, but they've been in the game. They've been fighting. So one team is going to win this game, like I said earlier. So one of the Cranston teams is not going to finish
winless.
Well, yeah, winless. I was about to say undefeated, but that's
I think you got the
opposite.
Well, it is something that we're going to have to watch here as these teams getting ready to come out. Looks like we've got, for the Cranston West on the coin flip, we got Christopher DeGatis, the senior quarterback, who has had a interesting year as he had some issues with COVID at the beginning that hindered his ability to play in a couple games. As we've got number 11 coming on the other side, Tyler Pickney. So we got two number 11s going out for the coin toss here at center field. Once again at Orbone Complex in Cranston, Rhode Island. And this is Fans Only Sports Network you are listening to. Sports with a Z.
Representing the Cranston West Falcons is captain at number 11, Christopher DeGatis, and for Cranston East, number 11, Tyler Pickney, for today's coin toss.
The referee just reading out the rules, showing the coin, the heads, the tails, letting the...
Also, the two head coaches are out there, too. You know, I haven't seen that.
That's something you don't see too often. It's a great point. As West has elected to defend the right side, and we are kicking off, looking like the Thunderbolts are going to receive the opening kick.
Thunderbolts will receive the opening kickoff.
as these teams get ready. They are excited, and there are, once again, great to see football in spring. A luxury that, we don't ever really get to have unless you're living somewhere else in like Texas, but Rhode Island is definitely ready to go for some spring football.
Yeah, this whole COVID year has really tested everybody, and we've tried new things, and this is one of the things that might stick around. I mean, I'm not sure we're going to have a full season, but maybe some type of spring football in the coming seasons would come along.
As now we will listen to the playing of the national anthem. And we are back and ready to go. The Cranston West Falcons have now ready to kick off to the Cranston East Thunderbolts. Once again, you are listening to Fans Only Sports Network. That is Fans Only Sports with a Z. I'm Bryce Antoch, here along Andrew Granier, Chris Carbone in production, Tyler Ferrer on camera. We got a God squad coming in the booth today.
Yeah, we got a lot of good, it's like the Pro Bowl here.
I know, we got everybody. And I'm not sure where Ron went, but Ron is somewhere around. Once again, we thank him for always giving us these opportunities. And both of these teams are ready to go. A lot of guys back there for the Cranston East Thunderbolts. As the kick is now underway. It's a high, short kick to about the 30-yard line and picked up by number 11 on the Cranston East, who sidesteps a couple of tackles and is wrapped at about the 30-yard line by a couple of Falcons.
A good pursuit there by the Falcons on kickoff. It's a really good start to the game. That's a good confidence builder for the defense going out.
Yeah, and Tyler Pickney on that one really caught the ball, but kind of just went east-west, didn't go north and south as, sometimes it kicks to the 30-yard line. You'd like to get a little bit of positive yards, but really only got about a net gain of 4. As this Cranston East Thunderbolt team is ready to go on offense. And we'll see what their opening drive has in store. As it is number 12 for Cranston. He's throwing a first ball deep to number 3, A.J. Green. A very familiar name as some of the guys over here just look at me thinking maybe the NFL wide receiver A.J. Green has now played for the Cincinnati Bengals, but it is number 12, Benjamin Harding, the quarterback for Cranston East, and really looked to throw deep on that first play and get something going fast.
Well, he beat number 13 like he was A.J. Green. He just couldn't come down with it. Wasn't a great throw. But I expect him to keep going back to there. That was a good route, and he's got a lot of speed.
Yeah, Cavalara was the DB as the handoff this time is swallowed at the line of scrimmage for a 3rd and long coming up for the Thunderbolts on the first drive.
For the Falcons.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's not like I went here or anything.
No.
as Cranston looking to get off the field early on this first possession. He's expecting to bring pressure.
I think they're going to sit back, and I expect East to probably take a shot downfield here, so I think West is going to play back.
As we know, Harding has an arm, as he showcased earlier, just a little bit overthrown on that ball to A.J. Greed early. We'll see if he looks back that way. As he scans right, looks for his options, throws one over the top. He's got number 13 once again. Not to be cherry open, but just overthrew it, so his passes are just carrying a little further than he'd want so far. But great stop by by West, and we're just gonna have to follow this throughout the game, see the trends if they can maintain coverage downfield.
Well, he definitely has an arm. It's just the accuracy part. He was throwing it up a little there the last 2 passes he had, and he's got to work on that.
As the punt is a boomer down to just about the 20 and picked up by Chung. He gets out to the edge and then it's tackled right around the 25-yard line, 26-yard line. As a decent return, as that punt went a lot further than I think he thought it went.
Yeah, I mean, that was a heck of a punt, a spiral kick. You don't see that a lot in high school football. You see a lot of the over-end, shorter punts, but that was a heck of a punt backing up the Falcons.
And Chung did a great job on that to really track it and follow it. Sometimes those kicks are so tricky, especially when it's kicked so high as the wind picks up the higher the altitude is. But now it is time as Christopher DeGatis is the quarterback for West. Looking to get something now going for the West Falcons. We'll see if he can do any damage with his arm. He's got some of his favorite targets out there. Motioning Chung across and hands it off, but we've got a flag on the first offensive play.
It's going to be approachment on the defense.
And that is not something you want to see for the Thunderbolts, but gives West a really, opens up the playbook a little bit, especially if you get on to the second or third down opportunities. It'll, instead of a 1st and 10, you got a 1st and 5. So
yeah,
easy, quick 5.
1st and 5 isn't something you see a lot, so that definitely wasn't a good start for Reese. I would expect West to run it here and bring it to 2nd down and short.
Earlier they had Chung in motion. They have him in motion again. Do they run the same play? They don't. As DeGatis is going to keep it this time and try to pick up a few yards. He's going to be tackled at about the 35-yard line.
Yeah, it's what I really expected there. The quarterback keeper up the middle, something up the middle just to get a 2nd and manageable. It's really going to be about if West can get their run game going. That's their bread and butter, and if they can get it going, they're going to be successful.
And they're going to call it a gain of about 3.5, give it a 1-2 yards to go here for West. DeGatis handing it off to Stetson, looking to dive to get near the 1st down marker, but another great stop by the D-line to really bottle up the West attack.
Yeah, there was just not good blocking on that left side there. I mean, East didn't do anything special defensively. They just beat them on the line, and that's what this game's going to be about. It's going to be about the line.
As they end up marking him just over the 1st down as Stetson comes out and the other senior, Miles Chung, comes in for the Falcons. As he is given the ball immediately and then tackled for just about a gain of 2. Making it about a 2nd and 8 for the Falcons.
I was a little surprised they gave him the 1st down there. I didn't think he had the yardage, but they'll take it.
I was with you on that, but sometimes beggars can't be choosers. You take what you can get. And now Stetson coming back on is Chung looking a little sluggish coming out to the sideline there.
Probably got the wind knocked out of him.
Stetson alongside of DeGatis in the backfield. Now motioning Marcus Chung as the snap is bottled and fumbled, but quickly gathered by DeGatis and tackled immediately behind the line of scrimmage for a big loss, resulting in a 3rd and long coming up for Cranston West.
Yeah, that can't happen offensively. You have to be, just sound. You have to catch the snap and hold on to it, the simple things, and then make the play. So they're giving East a lot of, a big uplift here with the 3rd and long situation. Let's see if West can convert.
And that, to me, could be a result of both of these players missing some time. We saw DeGatis miss some time and Stetson miss some time. So miscommunications early are expected. As this time it is taken, DeGatis throwing far for Chung, and it's intercepted at the 33-yard line. Great read on the ball by number 17, Christopher Torres, Granados for Cranston East.
Well, as bad as that looks as an interception, it's really just a glorified punt. That's all it is.
That's a great point. It is a nice punt, but it will look good on the stat sheet for Cranston East, and gives this defense a little confidence moving forward. We talked about the turnover battle early. So far 1-0, but it could have been a lot worse. That fumble that DeGatis had, it could have resulted in really a big change in field possession. So in the end, you maybe take that.
No,
and
absolutely. You never want to give an interception because anything can happen, and they can get some good returnage yard on there. He didn't, but
the ball is handed off immediately to number 1, Terrence. I really hope I don't butcher this name. Suvana Singh. I think I nailed it. As
number 1, the ball carrier for Cranston East brings up a 2nd and 7.
The 2nd and 7 now coming for Cranston East. Benjamin Harding is still the quarterback. He's got 2 running backs with him as the snap goes over his head as he quickly picks it up and is swallowed behind the line of scrimmage. Some great pursuit by this Cranston West defense to make it a 3rd and long. That's 2 snaps now that have been bobbled behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, 2 young teams here, really, both West and East, really young on the front side of the lines here. I believe there's 2 starting centers for West and East that haven't played a lot the last couple of years, so it really isn't that shocking to see a couple bad snaps and bad handles. So we've seen a lot of that so far, but for the coaching staff, you're trying to fix that up so that doesn't create turnovers late in the game.
That's a great point, but now it is still 0-0 with about halfway through the first quarter here, as we've got a whistle coming in. They're going to just resume play. Harding taking the snap, looking right, scanning the field, but then taking a sack deep into his own territory, making it a 4th and looking like 21.
Cranston West sack number 29.
And who else but Brendan Stetson, who seems to do so much for this team.
Yeah, I feel really bad for Stetson. He's missed 2 games this season, and 2 games is so critical in a short season like this. So for him to come in and make a big impact in the game like that is really special, and you don't expect anything less for him.
As the last punt was a boomer, we'll see how this one is. Another decent kick, but immediately caught and returned well by number 1, Chung, who gets to the edge. That's 1 man to beat, and then bullies down number 51 from the Thunderbolts, William Corbin. A great return by the Cranston West. A way to flip the field position on a flip like that.
Oh, yeah, I love to see that. You saw at the end of the run. It was a pretty run the whole way through. But what I love to see is right towards the end, towards the sideline, he put his shoulder down and gave the defender a shot. That's great football.
As you just mentioned, both players jumping up, giving each other a little bit of smack talk, but not sure if they were both in a position to.
Well, yeah, the defender's supposed to do the hitting. So he got I don't even know the word for that. But
either way, it was a touchdown preventing tackle, it looked like. As Stetson takes a snap and throws it out wide to Chung, who gets the edge and has beaten all of the Cranston East Thunderbolts, getting into the end zone for a touchdown for the Cranston West Falcons. As you don't see Stetson a quarterback too often, but he is
no, he's going to be like the
so dynamic
quarterback. So But you know what that does for a defense? When he's playing quarterback, you have to respect his ability to run. So they probably keyed in on him defensively, and they didn't expect him to toss it there, and it gave him an edge. And Marcus towards the edge, that's dangerous.
As Jared Morales now, the high snap and the kick is up and good through the uprights for the Falcons, giving them a 7-0 lead
Jared Morales, Cranston West 7, Cranston East 0.
with 5 minutes left to go here in the first quarter. As Chung really did it all at time for West. Once again, you start with the return and then the speed to get outside and get to the edge and just use his acceleration and get out past every single Thunderbolt.
And to make a quick point, number 21, Morales, he isn't the starting kicker for Cranston West, actually. Maddie Alves is. I don't know if she's here or not. I don't know her reason, if she's possibly injured or something. But, you know, I give a lot of credit for number 21, Morales, stepping up into that role. People think it's it's not a hard thing doing a kicker. You just step up there and kick the ball, but it's a difficult job.
Absolutely, and I was going to mention that off the kickoff. I was wondering if she was out there, but I didn't see her, so thank you for that. As
Got to be observant.
now looks ready to go on the second kickoff as the kick is short and drops to about the 30 and just cracked by number 44, Miles Chung, tackled immediately.
That's what you call laying the boom.
As there has been some hard hitting from this Cranston West side, and they are here ready to play up 7, and they have got some momentum their way.
Well, someone's got to, set the tone defensively, and there you go. Miles doing it for him on the special teams. Yeah, on the kickoff, actually. Yeah, special teams.
And we'll see what
It was
Benjamin.
such a good hit. It was such a good hit. I thought he was on defense.
And we'll see what Benjamin Harding can do as he takes the ball himself this time, finds a little crease, and we see a penalty flag come in as he drops to about the 39-yard line.
This one's coming back.
And sometimes those holes open up because of a little extra holding. So we'll see what happens.
Nah, he didn't hold.
Holding against Cranston Thunderbolts.
Linemen never hold, right, Bryce?
Oh, absolutely not, right, Andrew?
Never.
Did you ever hold in your days?
Nope.
Nope.
Because I never played offense.
Well, there you go.
Except for JV. But
Did you hold then?
that's for another day.
All right, we'll leave it alone.
No comment.
Now backed up once again, not exactly how you wanted to start the drive. Looking at a 1st and 20 for Benjamin Harding, who takes a step back, looks to throw a screen, but there's nothing as the ball is going to be picked off by number 13 and returned. Hudson Cavallaro, as another flag is on the play. So we'll see what happens.
This is going to be a tricky one to see. It really could be on any of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I
Not
think
sure.
they were both kind of.
Well, the flag is
It looked
towards the secondary area.
I was believing
so
that it might have been that tussle.
On the Cranston West Falcons, which negates the interception.
I don't think Cavallaro let him get out of his break, and he kind of twisted his hips a little bit. That may be why he ended up getting the interception. So
yeah, I mean, he could have just fell, and the ref saw that and threw the flag. So I'm not sure. But it's definitely a possibility. So it's disappointing for Cranston West to not get that interception. They're just coming off of a touchdown, but East will take it.
Benjamin Harding now looking to his left, throwing short to his main man, Tyler Pickney, who gets tackled very quickly as another flag flies in on the near side.
Yeah, they hit the quarterback, Ben Harding. They're pretty good, so we'll see what this is. I don't know what
As
that
the penalty
was.
comes on
Another hold?
number 51, William Corbin, illegal hands to the face.
I don't know about that. I think that's a 15-yard.
As it's going to be a 15-yard penalty.
Penalty on Cranston West results in a Thunderbolt first down.
Really
That's a
flipping,
backbreaker.
absolutely, but flipping the field so quickly, and on a drive that started at 1st and 20, you're now looking at a 1st and 10 on the other side of the field.
Well, East has to take advantage here. They got a couple penalties that go their way. They can't rely on the refs to win the game, so they're going to have to get something going offensively.
As Harding has Green, he's got Pickney out there, but he is not the quarterback right now. It is rather, but he's got number 1, Suvana Singh, as he is quickly tackled once again behind the line of scrimmage, and this West front is getting to him quickly. He doesn't have much time to look around, as a couple of his throws have seemed pretty errant.
Well, I got to say, West up front, as far as the run game's going, they're holding their gaps really well and filling and doing a really good job up front there. You know, you don't see a ton of pass rush in high school because you see so many runs. But East is actually passing at about, I would say it's about 50-50 right now. So West might open up a little bit more and start pass rushing.
Is now it was a loss of 2.
There go the
2nd and
ends.
12 is a nice break by Pickney on that one, tackled after a gain of
Harding's pass is
about
completed to number
6.
11, Tyler Pinkney.
As Pickney has been the main man to go to, besides maybe looking at A.J. Green so far for Benjamin Harding. As once again another throw comes out. I think you're right. I believe they're probably the only times we've really seen a rush has been Harding kind of taking it himself.
Yeah, I think maybe once or twice they gave it to number 1, possibly in the backfield. But I gotta say there, West did get some good pressure on the edges. So good awareness by the quarterback Harding and getting that ball out quick.
So now it's a 3rd and we'll say about 7 coming up for the Thunderbolts. As we clearly a little bit of a false start that time on. East setting them back another 5 yards.
They make it 3rd and 12 for the
See the
It's a
fingers
3rd and 11
pointing.
coming back now for the Thunderbolts. So what turned in for a 3rd and 6 and manageable now seemingly gives you little to no options on
The
what
thing
you're
I
going to
always
do.
love, sorry to cut you off there, but the thing I always love about when this is a false start approach is both sides, they point fingers at each other. The other guy did it, I didn't do it. So, you know, obviously someone did, but it wasn't me.
I'm sure you pointed a few fingers in your day too, huh?
No, I owned up to it.
Oh yeah,
I
I'm
owned
sure
up
you
to
did.
it.
Mm-hmm. As Harding trying to escape the pass rush, looks to his right and is hit as he throws. Once again, this edge rushers for Cranston West really showcasing their speed.
Good pursuit there. I gotta say though, I give credit to Ben Harding again for escaping the pocket. Just couldn't get a good throw there. I believe he was targeting A.J. Green.
Yes, he was, and another stomp and stand by this West defense, as we've seen the punts go pretty far so far for the Thunderbolts, and we'll see how this one goes with just about a minute and 16 left. As another nice punt picked up by Chung as he slides by a defender, has a hole on the left side, finds some space, gets outside, beats another defender. He's got one man to beat as he gets tackled by number 66 from behind from the Cranston East Thunderbolts, Jency Rodriguez, as another fantastic punt return, and he has very much been the difference so far in this game and how he's been able to flip the field position. But you got to say he's almost the punter so far for East has really outkicked the coverage. He's given Chung a lot of time to really scan the field and find the lanes.
Yeah, well, as good as East's been actually punting the ball, West has been just as good returning the ball, so it kind of negates itself. And we haven't seen one broke for a touchdown yet, but that's about one guy and he's gone.
As DeGatis takes it to his right, finds a little hole and hits it quickly as he cuts up field, getting to the 38, 39-yard line.
Picks up 6. It'll be 2nd and 4 for the Falcons.
2nd and 4 coming up for Cranston West. As this offense has been able to get up points in a hurry and get up the field fast. I mean, right once again at the hands of Chung, really getting himself up the field and getting this team up quickly on special teams. We know there's so 3 phases, offense, defense, and so many times people overlook special teams, but it could really, really flip a game.
Yeah, well, if you're good at it, you're going to see the difference in a game because of it.
As Stetson now at quarterback takes a direct handoff and gives himself a first down and then some, crossing the 35-yard line, getting down to about the 32.
Stetson, the ball carrier for the Falcons. It'll be a Cranston.
Just want to mention also, we didn't mention this at the beginning of the game. This is the first Cranston West and Cranston East game at this new field. All these games for years and years have been both played at Cranston Stadium. So this is the first game in a while it's actually been played here at Cranston West.
At the end of quarter number 1, the Cranston West Falcons 7.
As we are going to now quickly go to our sponsor, Rhode Island and National Guard, as we just got a quick message from them.
Always ready, always there. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
And now, once again, you can visit more information at RINationalGuard.com for more information. And once again, we do thank them for sponsoring this game, as we have concluded the first quarter 7-0 here for Cranston West, giving themselves a nice, comfortable lead with the ball as we get ready to come back in action.
Start the second quarter, it'll be Cranston West ball at the 32, first down and 10.
Cranston West picks up right where they left off at the 32-yard line. Now flipping sides on the field, first and 10. Is DeGatis back there again with the read option, but then takes it quickly outside, gets the edge, and picks up about 6 or 5 yards on that rush. We see a lot in high school so many times, the quarterback keeper.
Yeah, and that's really going to be West's saving grace this year, is they don't really have a true quarterback that is a starting quarterback. They got 3 guys they keep on revolving in there, and in high school, you see that all the time. We're running quarterbacks, so it's just something that you got to get used to, and
DeGatis hands it off now to Chung, who tries to get the edge. It's number 44, his brother. Maybe a block in the back as he gets the edge, and he's looking around a little bit confused, but I think we could tell from up here that Marcus got a little help from his brother, Miles, to...
No, not at all.
No, not at all?
That's the whole thing. No, I didn't do it. Put the hands up. Nope, wasn't me.
Oh, boy. Well, this one...
He just fell.
he just slipped. It's wet out there, right?
Yeah, he just fell.
Absolutely. So... pretty obvious block at the back that time, as it will back up the Falcons, I believe 10 yards from the spot of the foul. So
It'll be second and long for the Falcons.
looking at about a 2nd and 19. West now starting from the 41-yard line. As at the bottom of the screen is DeGatis with Marcus Chung behind him as Stetson looks to throw as he's got his quarterback open for a second, but not anymore, as now Stetson tries to cut it upfield, and he does, shaking another tackle. 3-4 guys he makes miss, and then finally brought down by number 29 of the Thunderbolts.
Brendan Stetson, the ball carrier. Second down
So
and 7
a nice rush by him. He had an option in the middle, but then just took it among himself to run upfield and really pick up a lot of those lost yards. Make it a 3rd down and seemingly about 7 to go.
As good of a run that was, you could still see he doesn't have that explosiveness still. He still looks a little, off, but good run for sure.
Once again, it is Stetson at quarterback with DeGatis at the bottom. Handing it off to Chung. This time it is going to be Miles Chung, the one who had the block in the back, trying to pick up the 1st down, and we'll see they mark him a few yards short. Now it's going to be about a 4th and 3 coming up.
4th down and 3 for the Falcons.
What play call are you running? 4th and 3.
Well, this is tough. I mean, there's so many things you can do here, but I would try to surprise him with maybe a bootleg here. So I would try to pass it early in the game.
Well, it is going to be Stetson in the backfield, once again taking the snap. As he looks to roll to his right side, is he going to pick up the 1st down? And he does, and then a lot more. As he gets down to about the 15, Brennan Stetson.
Or
even on this,
just do that.
Even on that ankle, as we have noticed, the explosiveness we saw from him week 1 against Central was, he was looking a lot better then. So we hope that this foot injury doesn't stay too long because he is a tremendous athlete. Especially next week, a game.
Yeah, don't even listen to me anymore about throwing the ball or what to do. Just give it to Stetson.
It seems like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it is Stetson just staying at quarterback, handing it off once again to Miles Chung, who tries to get the corner but can't get around all of those Thunderbolts who tackle him after about a gain of 3.
Miles Chung, the ball carrier, for a gain of 3.
As we once again see DeGatis coming back into the huddle, who was off for a few plays, as Stetson gets his much-deserved rest, although I'm sure he would love to have punched that in the end zone himself.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Although I'm sure he'll get the chance.
Oh, he will. He will. Goal line, he's coming in.
DeGatis motioning Chung as he hands it off to him, tries to get around the Thunderbolts as he does. Does he get the corner? Will he dive for the 1st down and seems to be out about the 1.5-yard line. It's a nice take by Marcus Chung, who's been so quick and so efficient today.
It'll be 1st and goal for the Falcons.
I'm surprised they're not putting Stetson in here. I would just go and give him the ball, let him do what he does best.
They may be trying to let Marcus Chung cap off a drive that he started with that tremendous punt return. So we will see, as he is out wide, and his brother, the senior Miles, is in the backfield alongside another senior, Christopher DeGatis. As the handoff is to Chung, as they try to get the senior in the end zone. And after a couple pushes, the West Falcons signaling they got a touchdown, but the refs looking like they're going to spot him a little bit short.
Number 44, Miles Chung, the ball carrier.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know how you mark a guy 1 inch short.
And they're talking as they do rule a touchdown now, and they give it to number 44, Miles Chung. Now 13-0 for the Falcons. As the referees just had to huddle up and see what they can come up with. And sometimes you do like to see the referees getting together and making a judgment based on everybody of what they saw.
Well, I don't know about you, but I got both Chung brothers on my fantasy team, and I'm doing good right now.
Well, I'll tell you, I think I may have just as many points just from Stetson, as the kick is up and good.
Point after is good.
Another great kick straight through, 14-0 lead for the Falcons.
And I picked up Morales, too, on the waiver wire this week.
Oh, there you go.
That's right.
Hopefully I'm not playing you this week.
No, I'd kill you. Can't beat the Chung brothers.
As the West sideline looking to maybe regroup a little bit on this kick, and as they've done such a great job on kickoff today, and all facets of special teams have been excellent for Cranston West as they look to continue that trend, and once again they look ready to go.
Well, what I would do here is it's a little risky, but you want a real backbreaker here? I don't know. Maybe I would try to go onside kick, get the ball back, go up, try possibly 21-0. I mean, look, even if you go onside and you don't get it back, he still hasn't really been getting anything going offensively. So you still give him half field and you play defense.
Well, we're gonna have to see what West does. I'll tell you, I like the play call, little Sean Payton in the Super Bowl.
Not right out of the halftime, but it works. Sometimes
Yes, it does.
They don't see it coming.
As the kick is off and it kicked pretty high into about the 25-yard line and picked up by number 11 Pickney as he tries to juke a couple defenders and gets himself about a gain of 10 or so. As East is going to begin at their own 34-yard line to really try and put a number into this West lead that is seeming to get harder and harder to overcome as the game's gone on, because we've seen East struggle on offense so far. So what is it going to have to be for East in order to get down the field? Besides the penalties, they've gotten lots of penalty calls so far and haven't been able to capitalize.
Well, if they're going to throw the ball like they have been so far, you're going to have to connect on one of them. It just comes down to that. If you're going to sell yourself on the pass game, you better complete, half your passes. And I don't think they've completed. Well, I think they completed 2, but short gain yardages. You need to get a big play here for East to get your offense going.
We'll see what Harding can come up with as the handoff comes down the gut. As it's going to be.
It's not going to do it right there for East. I think that's a real conservative play call there, going up the middle, down 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Suvanasing that time trying to get a nice rush up the middle, but only able to pick up a couple. As once again, we're just going to keep crediting this West defensive line who's been so dominant so far today. And we'll see if they let Harding let one loose, as a lot of the most recent play calls have been very conservative, as once again another rush up the middle, seemingly maybe picking up a half a yard.
Third and 7 for the Thunderbolts.
Also want to mention that Ben Harding, the starting quarterback for East, he actually played hockey for, I don't want to say for West, but it's a co-op team between Cranston East and Cranston West that helped them win the Division II championship this year. So it's kind of odd to see him be in a West uniform and then back in the East uniform.
That is a great point. I didn't even pick that up. All the West games we did is he was tackled once again behind the line of scrimmage, and another unsuccessful drive, not even picking up 5 yards, as another 4th and 10 coming up for the Thunderbolts. As we've reached just under halfway so far in the first half. It was still 14-0. We'll see another, more likely than not, booming punt as Chung has started to back up a little bit more, maybe realizing that these kicks are going further than he anticipated. As that kick is high and it finds itself rolling down inside the 20. Very friendly roll that time for the Thunderbolts, and that's what they're going to need if they're going to try and make West go 80 yards. So we'll see what West can come up with now with 5:18 left in the first half.
You don't need to have the strongest leg. You just need the lucky roll all the time. And this guy's got both, so that helps.
That's true, but something I wanted to point out was that West did kick off first, so they will be getting the ball in the second half.
Yeah,
so maybe a little twofer here, trying to, if you can put some more points on the board and really put this thing out of reach.
This is a big drive here. A lot of people don't understand that you're up 14-0. People think you can just sit back a little bit, but you need to press the gas pedal and not let go.
DeGatis handing it off this time to Stetson. I mean, who else but Stetson's really going to find nothing into something, as the hole seemed to.
Number 29, Brendan Stetson, the ball carrier.
As the holes really seem to close out early, but.
Second down and short for the Falcons.
Once again, his quick feet are able to get him regardless of his injury.
We got Matt DeFusco actually going playing quarterback now. Little something different. We've had a mix of DeGatis and
They're going to
Stetson
split out
quarterback.
DeGatis wide. As DeFusco, who we did see once again at Central, play quarterback, did a very decent job. He had some nice throws down the field. As we'll see what he can do as he drops back, tries to find something, and throws it over the top and complete to the other quarterback, DeGatis. A nice ball between 3 East defenders. Great placement and accuracy on that one that we've been looking to see from Harding, but was able to be quickly utilized by DeFusco.
As good as a play that was, he's got a bigger arm than that. That's not in question. Matt has an arm, it's just the accuracy. So he can fling it 50, 60 yards downfield, but I gotta say, good credit there on both the receiver and quarterback connecting over the top.
DeFusco taking it, handing off to Stetson, who tries to slip a couple of tackles, but is quickly brought down after a gain of 1. Second and 9 coming up for the Falcons as we just get under the 4-minute mark in the first half.
I'd like to thank our producer Chris Carbone for pointing that out there. That didn't even notice they switched the quarterbacks.
I know I saw DeGatis run out to the huddle, so sometimes it's hard to see at the side angle.
Yeah, all 3 of those guys are going to be on the field. You don't even know what's going to happen.
Exactly. So much misdirection you see used. DeFusco looking now, stopping on a dime was number 1, Marcus Chung, but the pass just thrown a little bit off his. You can't hit all of them.
Yeah,
but that's one he'd like to have back,
that's
though.
also going to be his thing, too, he's need to work on, is he's got such a strong arm, it's taken a little bit off of the ball, too, sometimes. You don't always need to put everything into the pass to get it there. Sometimes you need to take actually a little bit off of it.
As the sun comes out and sheds a little bit of light for a second here. The first time I think we've seen it all day.
The last 2 days.
That's the truth. DeFusco now with his man on his right, looking to throw again as he's going to fire one over the top as the wide receiver and cornerback just seem to be fighting the whole time down and looking for a flag, but I think it's a good no call as they were both wrestling, both fighting hands.
Yeah, I think if the ball was a little closer to the plate, you probably could have saw a penalty there, but it was a little overthrown, so they probably just let it go. I didn't think that really interfered with him getting to the ball there. It was about 5 yards over his head anyways.
And a much needed stop by the Thunderbolts as it is now 4th and 9 with a punting unit coming out for the Falcons.
Late sub coming in, Jacob Young on punt. Can't have that happen.
As the punt goes to the side of Pickney as it just rolls down at about the 20-yard line. So we'll see if the Thunderbolts can go 80 yards in 3 minutes. They're going to have that 3-minute offense out there. But they've been struggling today, so they're going to have to come up with something impressive or a big play early to really give themselves a chance at getting 7.
Yeah, well, you look at West's offense and what they've been doing. They've had a couple big plays here and there. Now at East right now, I mean, they haven't had any big plays, so they can't really get anything going. You just need that one big play to get your offense going sometimes, so let's look for that now.
And that we will definitely see what the Thunderbolts have drawn up. As the snap is to Harding, who quickly gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Another high pass as he looked to kind of give a little bit of a pump fake there, but didn't even have time to think about throwing as he just had to tuck it and just keep that ball safe from getting stripped.
Well, that's not going to do it.
And that is the truth.
Talking about a big play, and that was the opposite.
It is going to be a loss of about 4 this time for the Thunderbolts, so taking their time trying to get these players out, get these plays going as we hit under 2.5 left after just one play. So We'll see if East plays a little bit more conservative, maybe trying to just run off some of this clock and not give West any time. As you know, you can punt it pretty far. As once again, the pressure comes quickly. And no, it's intercepted in the backfield by West. Another great, tremendous play by this defensive line to really get to Harding quickly, not allow him anything, and stopping any screen pass that was coming in.
Yeah, East is trying to do a couple different things. They tried a little bit of a delayed screen there. They tried some pump fake passes downfield. Nothing's clicking for them right now. So, I mean, at halftime, you either kind of come up with some new plays to get your offense going, or just go at your base and see if they start clicking.
As we have a timeout called by Cranston East with 2:13.
Timeout, Cranston East.
Right now, if I'm East, I mean, I'm telling them probably, well, it's a tough situation. If you think you're not going to be able to pick up the first down, you might say, all right, let's just run, get a couple yards so we can punt the ball and get them backed up. They know they have the punter to do that. Or they might say, you know, let's just try to throw it up and see if we can get something going here. Let's see if they're aggressive or they're a little conservative.
It is a third down and very long, about 3rd and 14. So we'll see what they try to do. I mean, you've got to come up with something. I feel like if you're calling a timeout, then, you know, you got to come up with something. Maybe a little misdirection or something quick, because you don't have the time to sit that back there and really pick who you want to throw to. West has been getting behind the line of scrimmage within 1 to 2 seconds. So whatever you do, you're going to have to do it pretty quick.
And also they got some high snaps too, so that doesn't help.
Definitely not. But I know this West defense is hungry. They are ready to go, and they want to get off the field because they'll have an opportunity if they get a stop no matter what. They can call a timeout. They can get an option to even try and get 7 more on the board. You know, we talk about the punting of Cranston East, how far it can go, but the returning of Cranston West is, just as you've mentioned, it can combat that very quickly.
Yeah, I would expect West to definitely use a timeout after this play. If it's a run play, if it's a pass and it's incomplete, then that just saves them 3 timeouts there. So this is a tough decision for East. We'll see what they're going to do.
There's now a penalty coming in before the play starts, as this may not help the Thunderbolt case. It is a false start, backing them up a little bit more.
Yeah, they tried to get a free 5 there. That's so tough, though. You know, that would really aggravate me when you tell them, you just have a timeout and you tell them we're going on 2 and then a guy goes. So that would definitely aggravate me.
It does just showcase the frustrations that have been coming for the Thunderbolts today. I mean, it has been a very long first half. I mean, the score is only 2 possessions, but, you know, it feels like it's a lot more than that.
Yeah, well, East hasn't gotten anything going offensively, so when you're really so stale and you can't move the ball, it's going to, you know, even 7 points is really going to look like a high task.
Well, they ran a quick screen route that time with Christopher Torres Granados. But once again, now it is a 4th and long. You don't have to burn that timeout as the incomplete pass. We knew they had to do something quick, as Harding already had someone in his face, but once again, quickly was able to get that ball out and just a little bit off.
Yeah, especially with backing up another 5 yards with that full start after trying to get the free 5. Didn't work out. I would have just ran the ball, have West force them to take a timeout there.
As the kick from the end zone gets to about the 50-yard line and bounces out of bounds. So West, with 2 minutes left to go, going to start at the 50-yard line, or maybe their own, or the other 48. So pretty good field position for West. You know we can do it. We've seen DeFusco throw up a couple nice balls so far. We'll see if the Gators maybe takes a couple snaps at quarterback. It could be Stetson. I mean, this team's got options. So
it looks like Matt's still on the sideline here, so it's probably, it looks like it's going to be Stetson.
As we do see DeGatis line up out wide, who has been an effective receiver today. As the option this time by Stetson, who stiff arms a defender. He gets outside. He's got one man to beat. It's going to be Picnic trying to pick him up from behind as he gets into the end zone and quickly scores a touchdown. The foot looked pretty good to me on that one, Andrew. I don't know about you.
That is such a tough play to defend when you got Stetson, man. I mean, when you got Stetson and Chung, it's so hard because they could both kill you with that play. So, if I was West, I'd keep using that every time I can.
As another fantastic run by Stetson, really showcasing himself on senior night here as firing the extra point, looking to try and take a 21-0 lead as the kick is up and good. As you know, we talked about big plays for the Thunderbolts, but it's really been the big plays for the Falcons that have really grown this lead. We talked about trying to put up another touchdown since you received the ball on the other side of halftime, and they did it in a different way than we originally thought, but nonetheless, you still get that touchdown, and they've got to be feeling very confident at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. West has definitely got to feel really good offensively now. The last 2 games, only scoring 6 points in 2 games. That's real tough, and now coming out 21 in 1 half. That's really a good confidence builder, and you know, I don't know what's going to happen second half for West. They are getting the ball back in the second half, like you mentioned before. So I would expect them to probably try to run the clock a little bit and shorten the game. But again, it's going back to East. That was only a 10-second difference from when they punted the ball, so they still have 2 minutes to get something going.
And at this rate, that seems pretty difficult as they have not really gotten much going aside from when a couple penalties fall their way. So it's going to be interesting to follow as the kick gets to about the 25-yard line and is picked up, and a Thunderbolt is tackled after a gain of about 12 on the play. So maybe a nice little return gets this team going, as we're going to have to see. Maybe sometimes you just got to start it off in special teams or on defense instead of on the offense.
Well, I really don't even know what East is going to do here. It's just so difficult when you haven't had any success offensively. So, I mean, I don't know. If it was me, I'd just say, heck, just try to keep throwing to get something going.
Hey, you know, you might as well try and throw it. We've seen Harding have some errant passes really not go exactly where he wanted, but we know he's got an arm, so whenever you've got a big arm that can be dangerous, as they do just hand it off now, is, you know, maybe one of their nicer runs so far today, picks up about 5. As the ball is now on about the 44-yard line with a minute 20 left as they try and go to the line quickly, and they do as the flag comes out. Maybe
Flag on the field.
maybe on the defense.
Yeah, it's going to be approachment on the defense.
As you know, we talked about the penalties helping the Thunderbolts, and here it is again, now bringing the ball to about the 50-yard line. It stops the clock and brings us to the 49-yard line. So a minute and 16, and the clock begins to roll. So you've got to go quick. You've got a timeout left, but gonna have to come up with something.
It's all right. Still, the clock is still ticking. So, and they still got to go half the field. So it's not the biggest thing.
As a nice tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Hitting that ankles, number 26 for West. Beautiful to get his arm and really just not allow anything.
Yeah, that front is really playing a heck of a game. Number 12, Poley, and the number 45, Teddy Shackelford. They're really dominating the line up front, and that is the biggest factor.
As this time now a loss of 3 on that play, going to 2nd and 13 for the Thunderbolts now.
It'll be 2nd and 13 for the Thunderbolts.
As when you get down to it with about 48 seconds, we're going to maybe see Harding just take a couple of steps back and maybe roll out to his right. We've seen him roll out a couple of times. You know, he's got some quick feet. We know he's fast on skates, but he's got some quick feet too, does Harding. So maybe
it's a
try and get
little
one
different.
of his, maybe try and get one of his guys, Green or Pickney, down there, down the field, as we know he can throw it. So sometimes maybe a 50-50 ball is your best chance.
At this point, really, you got 48 seconds left. I mean, you might as well try to get something going like that. So, well, it looks like they're going to stay in Wishbone here.
As they hand it off again, maybe trying to pick something up on the ground. It's Suvana Singh, but just gets back to the line of scrimmages. West is really just happy to let the clock run out, and I think East might be a little bit happy about that too. Maybe just get into the locker room. As East has called a timeout, but you know, maybe makes you question that last play call a little bit. As
Third and 9 after the timeout. Penalty on the play, intentional grounding on the Thunderbolts.
as we apologize for the technical issues, as it is 3rd and 10 for the Thunderbolts at the 15-yard line on Cranston West sideline, with 10.7 left in the half, so they got to come up with something quickly. As Harding looking the same throw he had last time. Last time it was a little long, and this time it's once again out of the reach as a flag comes in and seemingly might be a defensive pass interference with 6.4 left.
No, that's not a penalty.
As the flag did fly out, as Andrew says it's not a penalty, but we'll see what the referees call it.
Pass interference on Cranston West.
Cranston West called for pass interference. Looks like a little bit of a shove in the back, maybe a little touchy.
I have a few choice words for that call that I can't say right now, so
But
I won't.
no matter whether you think it was or wasn't, that could be your decision, but it's going to be resulting in
Penalty is half the distance to the
half a
goal.
distance to the goal from the spot where they started, since they were inside of the 20-yard line, and it will be 6.4 left in the half, so
3rd down for Cranston East.
the Thunderbolts are now starting at the 8-yard line. Maybe their best, well, definitely their best option so far. And we talked about the penalties really, for Cranston East earlier, as they had an opportunity to capitalize but weren't able to. This is the prime time opportunity for them to capitalize now. Cranston West has now taken a timeout, trying to figure out the defense that they want to set up with 6.5 left to go in the first half, and maybe keep this shutout on the board.
Well, I would just tell all my guys, guard that end zone. Guard that goal line. Everybody, put your heels on the goal line. Give up anything in front of you, nothing behind you. Rally, make the tackle, and go into the second half.
And this may be a little bit of a momentum switch if Cranston East is able to put this in the end zone and get themselves on the board. But as we mentioned before, the Falcons will or should receive the ball coming out of the flip side of halftime. So this may seem like a very, very big play for Cranston East, as it absolutely is. And West trying to make sure that they don't give anything back to the Thunderbolts, rather. As once again, you are listening to Fans Only Sports Network. That is sports with a Z. As you are here with Andrew Granier, I'm Bryce Antoch, Tyler Ferreira, Chris Carbone, and Ron Roberts, somewhere roaming around. But it is 21-0 in favor of the Cranston West Falcons here on senior night at Orabone Complex in Cranston, Rhode Island, as the Thunderbolts are getting ready to go with 6.5 left, 6.5 seconds left, as it is going to be the ball at the fingertips of Harding, who's thrown it twice out to A.J. Green out wide. As he takes a look, throws it inside, and the pass is dropped, but there's still going to be some time left on the clock. They stop it at 2.1 seconds, so it's going to be 4th down, and you're going to have the chance for one more play. I'm not sure if East had any timeouts left after that. But that play may not have been the smartest. If he didn't get in the end zone, the clock would have just ran out.
Yeah, well, that's what you're banking on, is just to get that slant route couple yards into the end zone deep enough, make that break, get right in. It wasn't a bad play call, just wasn't executed. I'd look for them to probably either go to the pylon all the way in the back of the end zone, or maybe try to do another slant here. I would think those two options.
Yeah, they've threw a couple of fades outside to A.J. Green. We'll see what they come up with this time, as maybe a false start this time, as
Flag on the play.
maybe a false start, yeah, and it's going to be,
Penalty on Cranston East.
to back them up, it came on the left side. It looked like it may have been Pickney on that.
4th down.
That ran a little bit earlier. It was either Pickney or it was Torres Granados that started a little bit early, maybe a little bit too eager to get in the end zone, as the ball ended up going to the right side, and it may have been Harding's best throw of the day as it went over to A.J. Green on the far side, but called back quickly.
feels so weird. I feel like we're calling a Bengals game. Going the wide receiver AJ Green.
I know it was my immediate thought when you told me AJ Green was on the roster. So
Yeah, they got Joe Burrow down there. They got Joe Mixon. Yeah, they got a lot of guys.
T. Higgins. But, the offense could surely use some of those guys if they have been struggling today. But Harding, with about 1 second left, throws it up, going to A.J. Green over his shoulder, and incomplete as time expires on the clock. So 4 straight passes that time from Harding going to A.J. Green in the corner. The only time they connected was on a penalty. So frustration setting in for the Thunderbolts as we will go to halftime. And it is 21-0 in favor, as we will go now quickly to a word from our sponsor, the Rhode Island National Guard.
Always ready, always there. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
And for more information, you can visit the RINationalGuard.com. Once again, we do appreciate them sponsoring this game between the Cranston West Falcons on senior night and Cranston East, as we will leave it for halftime for now, and we will come back in a few minutes.
will receive the opening kickoff to start the second half.
Welcome back to Orabone Complex in Cranston, Rhode Island. You're listening to Fans Only Sports Network. That's sports with a Z, and I am Bryce Santoch here with Andrew Granier, and we are just ready to kick off the second half for the game between the Cranston West Falcons and Cranston East Thunderbolts. It is senior night, and the Falcons have really dominated this game from start to half so far, as it's 21-0, and the Thunderbolts are kicking off. So West looking to expand on their already 21-point lead, and it's going to be a tall task for East to come back in this game. And Andrew, what are some things they're going to have to do to really put this game back in really arm's reach?
They're just going to have to do everything better. I mean, they haven't got anything going, so punt's been their one actually bright spot.
Well, we know they're good on punts. We'll see about kickoffs as we are set to go here, as the Falcons are receiving the second half kick, as they did kick off originally. So the kick is short to about the 25-yard line, but the Falcons stumbles into the 30-yard line. Really could have picked up a few more yards there, but you know, sometimes you just take that. At least he didn't fumble. And the one thing for West to me is you got to limit the turnovers. You don't want to turn it over and really put yourself in a bad position with your back against the wall.
Yeah, right now it's all about controlling the clock, just trying to run the ball 3 straight times, run the clock, get a first down, keep, same cycle, and then hopefully finish with a touchdown. So that's in a perfect world, and we know we don't live in one, so we're going to see what happens.
As it is Stetson going to start off at quarterback here, as DeGatis lines up out wide. For a second, it looked like he might have gone in at Q, but it's going to be Stetson, who's been terrific all day, as he gives the option out wide to Marcus Chung, who is tackled behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of about 5 yards. So a nice strong play to open it up for the Thunderbolts on defense, who, once again, they started well at the line early defensively, but it's where they've been struggling is on the offensive side of the ball. They've been losing the battle to Cranston West's defensive rush.
Yeah, he's actually played somewhat well defensively, even though it's 21-0, but you just see that 0 and you say, well, the offense has been playing good either. So
a lot of
can't really
pressure.
blame it on anybody.
A lot of pressure's been on this defense, and the offense really hasn't helped them out, as the handoff goes to Miles Chung this time, who skips out a couple defenders and gets the edge, getting across the 40 and the 50, and now tackled by number 51 from the Cranston East Thunderbolts, William Corbin. A fantastic run to open it up after a loss of 5 on the first play. So Cranston West really was again just asserting themselves in the running game.
It looks like towards the end he was actually maybe high-stepping or something. I don't know why he was doing that, but maybe he thought he was gone.
Maybe a little showboat, but sometimes they do it a little bit too early.
It's not Dion.
As the handoff now goes out wide to Chung, as he tries to slip by a couple defenders, cuts back inside the 40-yard line and gets across it. Gaining only about 3 on the play. Maybe 4 they're going to give him.
Second down, Falcons.
Good job by Chung, kind of making something out of nothing there. It looked like he was going to have to cut all the way back and get stuffed in the backfield, but he did get a good gain.
Stetson to take the handoff and getting the lead blocker in Chung, as he skips through a couple of tackles in a 3rd and a 4th, looking to cut all the way across the field and comes all the way back, and it's Stetson for another touchdown, and he is absolutely torching this defense. I mean, there's nothing you can do to stop him. That foot looks pretty good to me, I'll tell you what. It doesn't seem to have much issue with it right now, and he's definitely showing out on senior night.
There is a penalty, though.
But we do have it coming all the way back with
that is a killer.
It's a killer,
That stinks.
but at the same time, this team has been running so well all day that they've been able to overcome penalties like this, and
I don't know if I saw a penalty there. I think they just kind of felt bad.
You are something else, Andrew.
Yeah, call it how it is. Or at least how it is to me.
And it will be a second down for the Falcons midway across the field at the 50-yard line. You would have picked up the flag if it was you?
I wouldn't have thrown it if it was me.
As it's Chung in motion, going to Stetson, who fakes the throw and then takes it up the middle, and he is just gone all the time. Is he going to do it again? One man to beat as he's tackled by A.J. Green as a defender this time at the 20-yard line. And, you know, sometimes they say ball don't lie, and this time it seemed to not, as he was able to just rush for about 25 yards to pick up a first down and at the 20 and pick up seemingly where they left off.
I know you're a big basketball guy, but this is football. Ball don't lie. You're not shooting.
Hey, I said seemingly. They say ball don't lie.
I get where you were going
See?
with there.
We wouldn't have got the first down if it wasn't true then. As now we've got DeGatis in at quarterback as he takes it to the right side and picks up a block by Chung, but is tackled as the block was shedded by number 11,
Number 11, Chris DeGatis, tackled behind
Pickney, tackling
Yeah,
DeGatis
not a
this
good
time.
job by Miles Chung right there blocking. He let go of him too early, didn't push him down the field, and you know that's what happens when you don't play every play at 100%. You give an opportunity for somebody to make a play, and Pickney did right there.
And now a second and long again, but West able to score seemingly at will and being able to turn big yardage downs into first downs many times so far today. As Stetson looking to throw, and he gets it short this time, but tackled immediately behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 2. Bring it to about 3rd and 15 for the Falcons now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that play call. I thought I mean, the clock is still going, which is good, but I think right now Stetson's really tearing it up there. I just keep giving him the ball.
As the clock is running, as we do have 7.5 left to go in the first, or rather the third quarter. Chung back there with Stetson. As Chung fakes the handoff to him and looking to throw, and he's got a man wide open. It's the brother of Marcus Chung on a tremendous route, a tremendous throw, and it is Stetson just being able to do everything. Throw, pass, tackle, you name it, he could do it.
Yeah, really. I never seen Stetson actually throw a ball in a game. Not too bad, I gotta say myself.
And he is tremendous all-around player, athlete, and he has done a fantastic job today at senior night, just showing out for his family, the fans, and us here especially. And even everybody on that Cranston East sideline is figuring out as for the first time the kick has been blocked tonight, a 27-0 lead.
Point after attempt is no good.
Dang, that's -1.
-1 for you in fantasy.
Dang, blocked. It's all right.
As West will now kick it off for the 5th time today. And I was going to mention that maybe if East didn't score, but I'll mention it now that in Rhode Island high school sports or football, if it is a 35-point lead or later or larger, then you have a running clock the rest of the game unless the score comes considerably in. Now, last week, we did see the score go to 34 points, and they kept the clock running because of a missed extra point. I think Tyler and I were at Cranston Stadium for that. So, if West to score another touchdown, I would expect it to do that again.
12 men on the field there for Reese. Call it timeout.
They had 12 men in the field, so
And East called the timeout, realizing they had too many men on the field. So everything seemingly going wrong for East today so far.
On the field, timeout, Cranston East.
We have 7 and some change left to go in the third quarter. 27-0. West is handling this game.
7-Eleven. Let's go get a Slurpee.
Too much sugar. Nah. But once again, you are listening to Fans Only Sports Network, not Sports with a Z, as we have changed the name from SFBNRI, as we've expanded into Connecticut, New Hampshire, so we're no longer Rhode Island predominant. We have also ventured out to other states. As the kickoff comes to the near side and picked up by A.J. Green, who tries to get around a couple of West players as a flag comes in, but is tackled quickly at the 34-yard line.
Flag on the play.
And usually on a kickoff, it's a block in the back or a holding, so we'll see what it is this time. As there it is, an illegal block in the back.
Penalty is an illegal block in the back on the Thunderbolts.
So just backing up the Thunderbolts even more, just making it a little more difficult for them to string together a drive that they had one opportunity there in the end of the first half. They were about the 6-yard line and couldn't capitalize as time expired. So it's been a long day for the offenses. Benjamin Harding has had a couple nice throws, but for the most part has had some accuracy issues.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a good confidence builder going into the half. They almost got points there, so you just got to keep doing what worked there and see if you can get something clicking.
As the Thunderbolt is just tackled at the 26-yard line. As East is taking their time, not really rushing too much, trying to maybe put together a good drive or run some with this clock. As Harding comes back into the huddle, he gives the play that he was just told on the sideline, so we will see. Harding looking to go over the top, and he's got hit as he threw, but he's got number 35 open for a second, but he underthrew him in a great play coming back. And a third and long coming up now.
Good pass breakup by number 20, Dimitri LeBlanc.
Intended for Dante.
There is a penalty, though.
We will see what the flag. We've had a lot of flags come out in this game. So we're going to have offsetting unsportsmanlike on both sides. So
Offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties on both teams. We'll replay the down, second down, Cranston East.
do you expect that to happen in a rivalry game at some point, especially in a game that is not very close? Sometimes emotions roll high. You get some trash talking on both sides, and all part of the game.
Yeah, it's actually been a pretty clean game. It's usually a lot worse than this.
It's a dead ball foul, so. Yeah.
Will be third down for Cranston East.
So Cranston East will look to try and convert this third and long, as they haven't really been able to unless a penalty has been able to help them. So we'll see what they can come up with on third down, as Harding had an option. We know he's got an arm, but he was hit as he threw that time, so definitely dismantled the throw. As this time he throws short and complete to the outside. So his man Pickney able to pick that one up, but only a gain of about 4 yards. So fourth and 5 coming up.
He's actually had some success with those shorter passes, so I would expect them to possibly just keep on trying to put a drive together the next time they get the ball with a lot of those passes.
And, you know, being down 27, under 5 left to go in the third quarter. Timeout taken by the Falcons. As you expected, they didn't really look too ready on that defensive play. It seemed the coach was scrambling a little bit. So if you're going to go for it, I mean, it is 4th and 5, or 4th and 4. So if you get a team to go off sides, you do get the first down. So we'll see if West is just trying to tell their players to react to a snap or react to another player, but don't be the one to jump off sides, because I know, Andrew, that as a line coach, Andrew, that really that bugs you in some of your players.
In practice, every time you go off sides, it's 10 push-ups. So that's how I feel about that.
And do they go offside a lot still?
No.
Well, there you go.
One practice, we had to do 90 push-ups. So they learned. But trust me, you don't want to be that guy. You feel, really bad. You feel like you let your team down on that. So don't be that guy here.
And we do want to point out that Christopher DeGatis is on the ground getting looked at. Seems like maybe a hamstring issue is happening for him. We hope he's okay. Of course, you never want to see anybody injured. And especially on a senior night, he's been playing well. Had a couple of rushing attempts, a couple passes caught, a couple of everything. So he's done it all. As the 4th down is picked up by the Thunderbolts. So once again, a little short pass for the quarterback able to get it and to convert the 4th down.
Yeah, I expect them to keep on doing that. I mean, that's really Harding's most success he's had tonight is really with those short passes. So keep doing enough of them and you keep picking up first downs.
And it also keeps the clock running, as it's going to be a pass thrown and caught by number 3, A.J. Green, who has one man to beat, and he is almost shoved out, but looks like it's going to be a touchdown from our angle, as the referee's going to spot him inside of the 1-yard line. So
I don't know about
great throw by Harding. It looked like to me he put the ball over the pylon, but they're going to mark him at the 1-yard line. Maybe they say he stepped out first, but
yeah, I mean, there wasn't really no other ref closer than the ref that made that call, so I don't think he's going to get any argument from any other refs there, so I think they're going to stick with the call.
And this is what East has needed the whole day. We've been talking about one big play is what they need, and there was a tremendous throw, Harding's best throw all day, and A.J. Green did a great job on that route, beat his man, and just took off downfield, never looked back. As a flag comes in, but the handoff looked like it was going to go over the line for a touchdown, but we will see as they're going to call encroachment on the defense. So they will inch the ball forward a little bit to about the 1/3 of a yard line.
Encroachment on the Falcons, 1st and goal from the post.
Yeah, that's just not good for West right there. I can see on some of the coaches' faces that just disappointment there, giving East a makeable touchdown now.
As a great tackle behind the line of scrimmage to prevent the touchdown was number 51 for Cranston West, Antonio Aceto, another senior.
Yeah, really good tackle there. Definitely stuffed them there.
The 2nd and goal from the post.
So obviously East has got a few more plays to get this one about a half a yard, so may expect to see a quarterback sneak at some point. We know how lethal that play is, so difficult to stop. And we'll see what Harding can do right now. It is going to be a quick handoff, and looks like he may be short again, but not going to have to see if he broke the line. I think they're going to call him short. Another great stand by this Cranston West defense.
It's going to be a half yard short.
Short of the goal line, 3rd and goal.
Tremendous job by Cranston West to really hold East from gaining that half a yard multiple times now. It's so difficult. This once again is going to be the quarterback sneak. Getting the touchdown this time was Harding from a little push from a couple of his running backs to get across the line of scrimmage and just shove his way into the end zone. So Cranston East getting on the board now, down 27-6 with 2.5 left to go in the third quarter.
Well, the one takeaway from there for Western you can say is they had a couple good downs there where they really stuffed them and had no gain. So that's the one good takeaway from there. But for East, that pass to A.J. Green that really started a good offensive momentum and keep pushing to the end zone, and this is going to give them a spark for the rest of the game. This is what they needed.
It's going to be Christian Metzger for the extra point, as it is up and good.
Successful. The score is Cranston West
27-7 now. Cranston West leads Cranston East. So it's time for the Falcons to get back on the offensive side of the ball here, where they have been so effective today. But it's going to have to be the defensive side of the ball where the Thunderbolts are going to have to possibly come up with a turnover.
I would honestly go with a short kick here if I was East. I don't want to give that ball to Stetson or Chung deep. Have him get a good return. I'd kick that ball short. Also, possibly look for an onside kick if you're West.
And those about the 40-yard line on each side is fairly open, so maybe a little pooch kick or something short between a couple of players to give yourself a chance. He's taking their time to set up a kick. We'll see what they have in store for us, as they're all talking about what they're going to do. So all on the same page, ready to go and trying to get their way back into this game, and we'll see if it starts right now. As it is a short little kick, about the 40-yard line, but handled well by Cranston West, and then tackled very quickly by a Thunderbolt. So, you know, a little attempt. We knew it was coming, and tried to be a little slick and sly with that play call, but I think West was ready for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, really right there when you look at that play, that was a good hit, actually, after number 7, Dominic Shavuli came down with the catch there. I don't mind that for East. I mean, I think that's a good decision. It's still somewhat early, so give it a shot. Try to get the ball back. It didn't work out. They just got to play defense.
Absolutely, and we'll see what is lined up for us with Stetson at quarterback, as he gives a handoff to Chung, who tries to find the edge, and he does, as he fumbles the ball. As we just mentioned, didn't want to happen, and Thunderbolts seeming like they may have got it.
Fumble on the field.
We'll see who comes up at the bottom of the pile with it, as they're going to say that West did recover it. I'm not entirely sure how. It was about a 3-1 advantage for the Thunderbolts to get that football, but some nice relentlessness by Miles Chung after he dropped the ball. So 2nd and 1.
Yeah, that's difficult. That's the one thing Miles has had a little bit of an issue with this year, is holding on to the football. I think it might even be his 3rd fumble this year. He needs to, really hold on to it better. He kind of holds on to it sometimes like a loaf of bread.
And so 1.5 minutes left in the third quarter. 27-7, the ball at midfield, 2nd and 1 for the Falcons. As the handoff is to Stetson, as a flag comes in, but he shedding a couple tackles, spinning around with defenders on him, and just bulldozing his way, but we'll see what the penalty is. There's going to be a hold on the offense. So Cranston West going to back up a little bit.
10-yard penalty will remain second down.
Now, what you love to see is Cranston West taking their time setting up, and they got a lot of wide options. So motion in the backfield, a high snap, but kept by the quarterback, and try to pick up some yards after that penalty on second down, and maybe getting a gain of about 4 to make it 3rd and 8 coming up. As we have a player down at the bottom of the pile for the Thunderbolts, number 51, William Corbin, as he is clearly hurt, and we hope to see that he's okay, talking to the trainers, and hopefully he can get up on his own and walk off. As he does walk off with a little bit of help from one of the trainers. As we have 28 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Cranston West with the football at about 3rd and 7 after a gain of about 5 on that last play.
Well, it is still a 3rd and manageable, so
we've seen
try to run the clock out and bring it into the 4th quarter and then run a play.
As Stetson keeps it himself, kind of loose with the football, but gives it out to number 11, DeGatis, as the clock will run out.
It is a very dangerous pass right there.
And it is 27-7. As now we will have a quick word from our sponsor, the National Guard.
Always ready, always there. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
For more information, please visit Rhode I once again want to shout out the seniors here on senior night for Cranston West. These guys worked all year, and it's been a pretty not a great year for these guys. So at least they can try to end on a high mark right here. And DeGatis is going to punt. High kick. It's going to come out to the west sideline. He's going to be tackled at the 42-yard line, but there is a penalty flag. Seems it's probably going to be on the receiving team. And it's going to be a block on the back on the Thunderbolts.
It'll be first down and 10 as Cranston East takes over on their own 28-yard line.
The fourth quarter.
Did you put your thing on? I can't hear you through here. Did you click your thing?
As the pass is intercepted by the Falcons and returned all the way to the end zone. Andrew talked about Deion Sanders earlier, but this is really it. Number 31, Nicholas Castriota, on his senior night, able to get one in the end zone for himself, and really a way to almost, I know the whole quarter's left, but almost cap it off a tremendous play.
Yeah, that's a really nice play there for the linebacker, Castriota. What better than to score on senior night for a defensive player?
And for the Thunderbolts, just fitting with the scheme of how this game has played out. Been very difficult. As we have a flag on the field now. On the kick is a false start, so back it up a little bit and re-attempt the kick. So we'll back it up. The kick seemed like it could have been good from an extra 5 yards, so we'll find out. So it is 33-7 now. Only 22 seconds into the fourth quarter. So after some conversations between players and refs, we are ready to reattempt the kick. Low snap, but held and then blocked again, second time today. Sometimes when you back up a little bit, you gotta make the kick go a little bit more flat and kind of line driving instead of trying to put a little bit over. So you do see those kicks from further out blocked more often than something a lot closer.
Yeah, not a great snap there either. A long snapper. This is West. They got a new long snapper this season. Excuse me. The last 3 seasons they had a long snapper, Nicholas Crudale. So that's another position they had to fill again. And a lot of people don't think about that, filling in for a long snapper, but it can be a difference maker sometimes.
Absolutely, that's a great point. You know, sometimes you don't think about those positions, and every position has such, you know, you hear that, do your job. So every position is so important, so important. Excuse me on that. So definitely comes in all facets, as we've talked about before. Special teams, offense, and defense, just as important as each other. As a nice kick this time, kick to about the 20-yard line and returned by Pickney, who breaks a tackle and has a couple blockers ahead of him as he uses them well and gets to the 50-yard line and stopped by a couple of Western players on the near side right in front of us.
That's a good return there. Again, this could really spark something for Reese here. We're going to see if they can, get something going again, possibly with their pass game.
And we did see last time Harding.
Penalty here.
And a penalty is most likely going to bring them back as we see East and West both walking back to the around 20-yard line. So a 1st and 22 start now for the Falcons. as Ben Harding looks to try and get something going with about 10:19 left. As the snap is high and fumbled immediately, and picked up by a Falcon. 2 plays, 2 turnovers. Everything that can go wrong has gone wrong so far for Cranston Easton. West is capitalizing and capitalizing and capitalizing.
Yeah, well, you know, the defense didn't even do anything special there. It's just a high snap, bobbled, and West is taking advantage of everything East is giving them. That's all that's happening right here. So, as decent as West has actually played in this game, it's a lot of the time you see a team just, you know, beating themselves up, not a team beating them.
Absolutely, and West looking to put another one in the end zone as now we've got DeFusco at quarterback, handed off inside of the 10-yard line now to about the 7, so.
Looks like they're trying to get Stetson another touchdown here, possibly.
We've now gone inside of 10. DeFusco at quarterback now. West really just dishing the wealth around to all their players. As the handoff now goes inside to number 45, Teddy Shackelford, but is not able to get much with it.
45 Teddy Shackelford on the carry. 3rd down, Cranston West.
It's a player that's really done a nice job for West this year, number 45, Teddy Shackelford. He's played a little bit of everything. He's been on the defensive line most recently, playing on the nose. He's played some fullback, so he's been all over the field. He's been a really good find for the Falcons this season.
And he's once again back there with Miles Chung and DeFusco at quarterback. Handed off to Chung as they got him as a lead blocker, and he gets it. Now Chung tries to get the corner, and it looks like he's got it, and he does. And another touchdown for Cranston West, this time Miles Chung. 39-7. Now for the Falcons, so a very one-sided affair today, and 8:43 left to go in the game, and 2 turnovers within the span of a couple minutes have really opened this thing, if it wasn't already opened already. So,
well, there's the kick. That's good.
The kick is up and good for after a couple missed opportunities on the extra point. So we are at a 33-point difference.
Well, I mean, at this point, I don't want to call any game over right now, but for East, you just gotta kind of have some pride there and try to put more points on the board at this point. It's really not about winning the game right now as much as it is putting some points on the board and making it respectable.
Absolutely, and I know West is eyeing trying to get a couple more points on the board and maybe keep this clock running, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's strictly situational. It's not for bragging rights. I was kidding, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Well, West is getting ready to kick off again, as they've done so many times today, and both teams were 0-3 coming in today, but looking like West is going to really get the better of this matchup. So you got to have some happy families and players after a long season. I mean, it was really a short season, but 0-3 makes it a little bit longer. As a nice tackle on A.J. Green by number 12 for Cranston West, Noah Polion.
That's another find that I was saying, talking about Teddy Shackelford. Another really good find for West was number 12, Noah Polion, stepping in and playing defensive end. He's really done a really good job in his junior season, and he's been playing special teams and defense the last 2-3 games, and next year I think he's going to be a really good player for Wes going into his senior season.
And I know he's definitely looking forward to having a whole senior year, as I'm sure most of these players are that, are not graduating. As it appears we had an ejection.
That's Antonio Aceto, number 51.
The senior, I'm not exactly sure why, but
Well, I gotta say, I've played with him, and he is a hothead, so I can see why. It's not what you want to do on senior night, but like you said earlier, this is a rivalry game, and emotions run high.
as now East will start at the 42-yard line, and the handoff this time is to number 1, Suvana Singh, who gets a nice pickup of about 5. Make it a 2nd and 5 coming up. There's 3 backs behind the quarterback now is handed off, and finding a hole is a thunderbolt, as this time Benjamin Harding was able to get off to one of the 3 backs behind him and get a nice gain and give it a first down.
East finally seems like they got some, some fight back in them, playing up front, getting a good push up, trying to get more points on the board. We have been looking for this all day, and it's finally coming late in the 4th.
It's a late entry for Jacob Robert coming into the game. So Harding hands it off, and a nice gain again by the Thunderbolts. Pick up about 5, and they're running pretty well now.
Yeah, I think West is relaxing their defense a little bit. They're not playing so aggressive up front. They also want the clock to run too, so I don't think they mind East getting some rushing yards and just keep on.
Absolutely. I think you're 100% correct. Just keep everything in front, keep the clock moving, and that is what they are trying to do for sure. As the pitch goes wide, trying to get the corner, is number 6, who puts his head down and delivers a hit, was Adrian Foreman, the freshman for Cranston East. So a nice hard run as he picks up the first down.
Cranston East tackled by number 19, Jacob Young, results in a fundable first down.
East once again with 3 backs, looking to run it, and they do. This time tackled right at the line of scrimmage, so not picking up anything, and West maybe trying to pick up the pace a little bit now, trying to get a little more hump in their step after a couple of nice runs by the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I think West started getting their linebackers to step up closer to the line, because it looks like East has just run the ball. I'm not sure if they're going to pass. I don't think they have this drive yet. So
yeah, the last few plays have had about a 3-back set behind as they look to continue it. As the handoff goes to number 26, who's tackled pretty quickly. As it's been so another maybe unsportsmanlike coming up here, and at this point in the game, just the frustrations coming out, and as a one-sided affair, it's pretty easy to let your emotions run high, especially you see it in high school a lot. So,
well, when it's a 40-7 game, the losing team is going to start getting chippy, and they're going to start trying to, just get into the other team's head. And it could also happen on this side. This is a rivalry game, so both teams are going at each other's throats. It's just how it is.
Looks like that one is on Stetson, who gets the
penalty on Cranston West.
Unsportsmanlike that time on him.
15-yard penalty results in a thunderbolt first down.
as the Thunderbolts maybe looking to take advantage and get another score on the scoreboard and make the final seem a little bit more presentable than 40-7. So we'll see if they can't put another one in as the clock runs under 4 minutes now. As it's a pitch to Suvanisang, who gets a nice run and a flag coming in and gets a nice gain and almost a first down. Looks like it's going to be maybe a half a yard short.
It looks like that one might be coming back.
As East has already started to walk back, as it is what they called, so once again, it is penalties for East that have set them back a lot. Every time they seem to get a penalty, it's very much destroyed their drives. So once again, we'll see what they're able to do. It is first down in a long 20.
I don't know, maybe it looked to pass it here to try to get something going.
Yeah, you got nothing to lose.
Yeah, I mean, I know they've been doing a lot of that 3 running back set, but it's just wasting time. So if that's what their plan is, to waste time, then keep doing this. But they're trying to put points on the board. I just start chucking it around a little bit.
But officially, it is a 3rd and 18. But it is going to be Harding rolling out to his right. It is trying to throw deep. Doesn't have many options, and the pass is off, and they're not going to call any pass interference on that. It's both corner and wide receiver were just tussling and fighting each other downfield. So
yeah, that looks like probably just hand fight incidental contact. They both fell, so nothing there.
Bring it to 2nd down and 18 again. Just under the 3-minute mark left to go in this game. This has been a very one-sided affair, as we've mentioned, and senior night for Cranston West, and what a pretty good way to have it. I mean, I don't think you'll have it many other ways, especially as a Falcon, against the rivalry, the Thunderbolts. So if you can have it like this, get your only win of the season so far, you'd rather do it today than any other day of the week, or year, rather.
Yeah, it's really turned out to be actually a pretty nice day.
And the sun's shined a few times. It's out right now, but Lexa disappears. Another pitch goes out wide to number 6, who picks up a block in front of him and tries to get the corner, but is tackled by the shoelaces and at the ankles. So another number 6, Adrian Foreman, with another good run. He's running pretty effectively in this quarter, but a little moment too late, as maybe he would have needed him to carry the ball earlier in the game.
Yeah, well, this is just exactly what I was talking about before. It's not about winning the game anymore. It's about putting points up and trying to make it respectable.
Most definitely is. Now for West, DeGatis will come off the field as it's going to be 4th down and 2. So the Cranston East Thunderbolts trying to pick up this 3rd down now that they were a little miscommunication on the markers. It's now going to be a 1st down inside of the 2-yard line.
Foreman is the ball carrier, good enough for a Thunderbolt 1st down, 1st and goal.
As the Thunderbolts try to put one more touchdown on the board, and as we just hit the 2-minute mark in the 4th quarter. So just for brownie points now for Cranston East to try and, just as you said, make the score a little bit more respectable. As a nice tackle to tackle number 1, Suvanasang, behind the line of scrimmage and short of the goal line. The clock does continue to run. So with a minute and a half left to go in the game. The handoff goes to number 26, who barrels his way across the end zone for a touchdown. Number 26, Peyton Ganolfi, getting himself a touchdown on the day, making the score 40-13 with the extra point pending. So, they did what they wanted to do, come down, maybe get themselves a little extra pat on the back. I mean, it's been a long day. It's been a difficult day for them. So to get that touchdown, maybe just stops the bleeding a little bit.
Yeah, funny thing, I actually went to elementary school with Peyton and his sister Noella, so shout out to Peyton and their family.
That's pretty neat, Andrew. Thank you for that. As the kick is up, and pretty nice kick. Got pretty far down there, but we've seen the kicking game be pretty strong for the Thunderbolts so far today. So a minute left to go, 40-14, as we expect West really just to run out the clock. I mean, if you're East at this point, you're going to try to go onside. I mean, you might as well just kick it deep. Doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, you take your loss, get out of here, and regroup going to next week. That's what it's all about now.
So West ready to receive the kickoff as East is talking it over, trying to go out there. So we'll see if they came up with something creative or if they're just going to boot it along. But we'll find out in about 30 seconds. There's a difference today. I mean, for me, it's been Marcus Chung. I mean, in the kick return game, he's been fantastic, able to score touchdowns on the ground. He's been able to block, receive the ball. He's done it all today for Cranston West, and I know your guy Stetson has been unbelievable. So, farewell to him, as this is his last home game in a West uniform. But tremendous career he's had, and especially year. He's been unbelievable.
Oh yeah, he's gonna go down one of the greats here. He is just he's such a good player. He can play so many different positions, and he doesn't waver from anything. So he's got a heart of a lion. He's a hell of a player, and he's going to do a lot of great things if he does go to college and end up playing football.
Absolutely, it's a great point. And so often players don't exactly know what they want to do after they get out of high school, and you don't have to. It's one of the beauties is that you can try things and figure it out as you go sometimes. So best of luck to all the graduating players, even on both sides, Cranston East and Cranston West. I know it's not Cranston East senior night, but nonetheless, they still have a good amount of seniors on their roster who will move on after this year. So, you still have a lot of time to figure out what you're going to do. And as this game is really wrapping up, we got a minute left, and 40-14, the Falcons have manhandled this game so much, and kind of just victory formation to end this one off on the right note, as they've got Defusco back there taking the snap. As the clock is going to run, Andrew, any last pointers, last thoughts?
No, not really. I mean, it was a good game by both teams for, I would say a first quarter, and then West started taking over a little bit, and that was pretty much it. It was a good game. Obviously for West, it was a little bit better of a game, but it's, we knew coming to this game with 2 0-3 teams. One of these teams are coming out with a win. West was the better team today, so my hat's off to both teams for playing this game, both playing in this COVID season, if you want to call it. So hats off to both of these teams. Really good job.
And this is going to do it for us today. Once again, congratulations to the Falcons on picking up their first win of the season. I mean, I'm Bryce Antoch here with Andrew Granier. We've got Chris Carbone, Tyler Russo. I got a friend named Tyler Russo, Tyler Ferreira, and I got Andy in the house too. We've got Ron floating around, and we're just going to end it with a quick word from our sponsors, and we're going to
ready, always there. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out
For more
more.
information, you can visit RINationalGuard.com.